Hello everyone, this is Taryn with Wonderfully Made Handcrafting, and today we're working through Day 12 of By the Well for God's Witness to the Wonder. We are officially halfway through this Advent devotional. I'm so excited to be able to bring a new video to you every day. This has been really fun for me. And today we're doing a simple process video. So if you have any of the printables and some of the paper and maybe even a label or two, you should be absolutely fine and be able to complete this as well. So in today's devotional, we're talking about Zechariah, Elizabeth, and John the Baptist. And John the Baptist just stood out to me a little bit more. That is because a couple months ago in another devotional from By the Well for God, we did talk about John the Baptist as well and how he prepared the way for the Lord. And specifically, Judy writes in this devotional, she says, John's role was to prepare the way, to prepare hearts for the Lord. He preached repentance, not just right living. He preached about a change of heart. The stage was now set for the curtain to raise on God's great work of redemption through Jesus Christ. In John 1:7-8, we read about John, and it says, He came as a witness, to bear witness about the light, that all might believe through him he was not the light, but came to bear witness about the light. And that just reminds me of the devotional a couple months ago where we talked about how John was preparing the way for the Lord, but he was not going to get in the way. So now back to decorating the front side of this memory decks card. I did grab this snowfall grit paste. This obviously goes on white, but it does dry clear, and it has clear rock candy glitter in it as well. So it adds usually a really fun texture. I had used it for my title card for this devotional, and I was kind of hoping for the same look, but it really didn't give the same look at all. I really liked the look of it on some distress sprays on some plain paper, but I think it was just too much going on and you couldn't really tell that it was there necessarily at the end. But it's okay, it does add a little bit of texture. But while I'm waiting for that to dry, I do work on some other things like adding some foam tape to one of these floral printables. Now don't forget that you do have the printables that when you buy the kit, you get the printables that are the die cuts that come with the kit. So those are going to be located under your account on the By the Well for God store site. I did type out that quote from Judy. John's role was to prepare the way, to prepare hearts for the Lord. And so I thought that was a really key point of this devotional. So I wrote that out on one of the labels, and I also propped that up on some foam tape as well. So here I am placing everything. That one just has glue underneath it. And then the second floral that I'm going to put on will have foam tape. So to add a little bit of dimension and interest on this card. I also really wanted to add this little ticket piece. Now, these were part of the printables that you had to buy, and I scaled them down significantly in my Silhouette Studio program, and that's how I got them so small and fussy cut them all out. I did kind of make it so it was bent up, so it had more interest as well to it and wasn't flat down on the card. So here's where I'm really feeling like I'm missing something, especially since that snowfall grit paste isn't showing up too much on this pattern paper. And so I grabbed my seam binding. This is a seam binding that I dyed for a YouTube tutorial the other day. So definitely check that out. And By the Well for God is actually selling their own seam binding now. So you can pick some up easily. It's a little tricky to find, but it is definitely fun to do. So I dyed this the other day and I'm making my own little bow. Now how I make my bows is I make the 2 loops and then I actually take an extra piece of ribbon and tie it in a knot in the back side of the bow. And then those little extra pieces will kind of hang down with the other pieces that usually hang down. I know that's a little confusing to say, but hopefully you understand by just watching this. Or if you are already great at making bows, then more power to you. Make those bows. I just am not great at making bows. So this is a way that I can make them where I'm pretty pleased with the outcome. I'm going to make sure to add quite a bit of glue when gluing down this ribbon to make sure it stays, especially as I flip through all my memory decks cards. And then I'm going to actually add a tab to this card. Now I will use my tab punch and some of the pattern paper. This is actually the same pattern paper that I used for the front side of this Memory Decks card, but it is the fun grid wonky back side of it. And I will make one side of the tab the grid one, and then the other side will be the winter lace, so it will coordinate with the front side of this card. I will use my tiny attacher to staple this to the back side of this card. Now you will see the back side of my staples, and if I didn't want that, I could have just glued it down or even did some faux stapling by adding staples to the tab and then gluing it down instead of actually stapling it. But honestly, it doesn't really bother me that much, and so I just go along with it. And I also add a label that says John with my Dymo label maker. You probably already noticed, but I forgot to mention that I did distress all my labels and florals before I even started this process video. I am making so many of these cards that sometimes it's just easy to distress the things all together. And so I did that before I started this video to make it a little bit faster for you. And so you don't have to hear me say for the millionth time that I'm distressing this and this and this. You just know that's my style. So that's what I did. I am adding day 12 to the back side of this card, and then this card will be finished. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can find everything I use down below in the description. If you haven't seen day 11's process video yet, I will link that next. And I hope you have a great day. Merry Christmas.